What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Heroes Avenue. My name is Darian, and today we're going to be talking about Wonder Woman 3 and my theory on where the movie is going to take place. And then we're going to jump into Zoe Kravitz quote about how she thinks Robert Pattinson is the perfect person for the Batman role. And so let's go ahead and jump into this Patty Jenkins quote, the director of Wonder Woman. My theory is that Wonder Woman 3 will be taking place during the pandemic. And before you start, writing your comments, let me go ahead and talk about the quotes that she made back in January with the Hollywood Reporter and how Wonder Woman 3 could possibly be taking place in the current times. She says, "I'm not set, but I'm not dying to do another period piece. It's definitely one of those things we talked about. I'm not pinning to put it in the past again, because then where are you gonna go? You have to go forward. So definitely a contemporary story. That's all I can say. And so where we put it and how that gets figured out, I haven't totally nailed it down." So there you go. So she's not totally for another period piece, because the first Wonder Woman was taking place during the World War, and the second one is during the 80s, and it's just like, where else are you gonna go? The 90s, the 2000s? Might as well, if you're gonna just finish this trilogy, put it in the present day. And her recent quote with Total Film really kind of sparks interest on like changing the time, the where she wants to take Wonder Woman in the present day. And I feel like right now is the perfect time to have Wonder Woman. So in this interview, she really talks about the process of Wonder Woman 3 and how she's currently putting a pause on the script. But let me go ahead and just read you her quote with Total Film. That was most recent. She says, "I really hit the pause button because the truth is where that plot line was coming from was our state of being 6 months ago. And so I want to make sure that I'm totally absorbing whatever the result of this pandemic is. We're not starting to work on that movie right away. I'm hoping to do this Amazon movie before we do the third Wonder Woman. And I may not do either of them. You never know what will happen in this world, But yes, I think the plot line will stay very similar, probably, but I want to make sure it's influenced by all of this." So, taking what we know from what she said back in January and what she's saying in this most recent interview with Total Film, I feel like she, the fact that she wants to really absorb and really listen to the news outlets and really absorb the times that we're living right now, because it's really unprecedented, right? So especially for a lot of us that haven't, that weren't living through the other pandemics back then. So right now she wants to really, just listen to everyone, and I feel like she's going to use what we're going through and really change the script and really make, put Wonder Woman in the front lines of this pandemic. Because look, right now, the United States is super divided, regardless if you're political or not. The world is madness, and I feel like having someone like Wonder Woman kind of leading us and showing us to unite each other and to love each other again, to love your neighbor and bring peace in this world, I feel like is the perfect opportunity for them to have Wonder Woman as a leader and kind of show us the way. I think it's perfect. I think it makes sense, and it makes Wonder Woman very, very relevant, because when this movie comes out, you never know where the state of our country will be in. Maybe we're even more divided at that point, or maybe we're finally progressing to be more united, hopefully. But I feel like putting Wonder Woman there and really putting her in the middle of pandemic and this whole division that this country is going through right now would really help, and it really show her importance, really show the importance of her character and the significance of her power and her ideology, and I think it would be really great. And so I want to know your guys' thoughts on this. This is just my personal theory, but do you guys agree? Do you guys not? Let me know in the comments below. All right, so let's go ahead and move on with the Zoe Kravitz quote that she talked about how Robert Pattinson is the perfect person for this Batman role. She says, "First of all, he's just a really good actor. He started out as this kind of teen pop sensation, and then I think we all kind of saw through his work that there was a lot more going on." And let me just pause there right there. I think, man, she spoke the truth right there. I feel like a lot of us, a lot of us didn't know what was gonna happen with his career, right? Because he started with, Twilight, and you're like, forget about that guy. And a lot of us were just watching, these big blockbuster movies, while, Robert Pattinson was actually doing really good work and making these indie films and nothing that was really well known, and really building his credibility as an actor and just taking on these really interesting roles, right? And you got The Lighthouse, and you got Good Time, and there's these other films that came out that a lot of people don't know about. And then when they actually go back and watch it, they're like, oh, this guy's actually talented. So I really like that she pointed that out, and it just speaks the truth. All right, anyway, continuing on, she says, he's a really interesting artist, and that is very much Batman in a way. We have the illusion of Bruce Wayne, and then we have Batman in the shadows that has a lot more complicated things going on. So just in that, I think he's perfect for the role. He can relate in that way, and he looks good in the suit, man. He looks good in the suit. I really feel like she enunciated the good in the suit. That's a good jawline. But he's just a great actor, and he brings so much to everything he does. I think that it's a really hard role because people are expecting a lot. Also, it's restricting in a lot of ways. You're also wearing the suit, and you can't see their eyes, and you can only move in certain ways. So you have to get really creative in terms of how you portray the multi-dimensional character. He's way up for the challenge and has really interesting ideas already. I think he's perfect casting. So I totally agree. I feel like a lot of people that just see the Robert Pattinson Twilight person don't really understand how capable he is to playing this Bruce Wayne role. I think the fact that we think this guy is a really bad actor and that's his persona to the public, but really on the inside he is multi-dimensional and can play anyone. He's a chameleon. I feel like that's his true self. That's his Batman version of Robert Pattinson. And I feel like it really works. And I know I talked about how Robert Pattinson is not, he's the scrawniest Batman, and I feel like I really agreed how like Zack Snyder took Ben Affleck and made him a superhero and made him like a really buff and strong figure, and how Robert Pattinson is nothing near that, and he's just a scrawny Batman. But I feel like Robert Pattinson is really taking the mental notes of what it takes to be Bruce Wayne and Batman at the same time. I feel like that research and that those mental training sessions he puts himself with, I feel like makes him almost a better casting decision than the other Batmans like Ben Affleck. I mean, don't quote me on that, but we'll see, because if he's able to capture the emotional side much better than the previous ones, hey, I'm all for it. And that just makes him more of an interesting character and an interesting actor. And so I mean, look at Heath Ledger and Joaquin Phoenix. Like, those are two different portrayals, but different emotional takes, right? One was more emotional, like Joaquin Phoenix, and one was less, and it was more aggressive with Heath Ledger one. It's like, which one do you want? Which version do you like better? A lot of people will go back and forth on that. And so I feel like Rob Pattinson's kind of going through the same route that same emotional route that Joaquin Phoenix went through. Similar, not as much and dark and depth as Joaquin did, but I just feel like he's doing more research on how it felt to grow up with no parents, and how it really damaged his upbringing, and how he really wears his parents on his shoulders, and as the bat symbol as well, if that is the gun that killed his parents. So I would love to know your guys' thoughts on all this. I know a lot of this is a lot taken right now, but I would love to know your guys' thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you guys again. Bye.